I got home a little before 11 in the morning. The air conditioning in my office building had broken down, so I decided to head home early. Like most days, I'd bike to work. It's a 4-mile trip each way. The ride back was uneventful, quiet even. Not because I was avoiding noise, it just turned out that way. When I pulled into the backyard, I immediately noticed Nell sitting on the patio. She was barefoot, wearing a simple shift dress. Nothing unusual there. What did catch my eye, though, was Blake Downing sitting beside her. He wore gym shorts and a snug t-shirt, and that was definitely out of the ordinary. There were 2 open beers on the table, and they were sitting closely together on the double swing, almost touching. Blake had his hand on Nell's shoulder. They were looking directly at each other, lost in the moment, completely unaware of me for at least a few seconds. I didn't stop where I usually park my bike. Instead, I rolled it straight up onto the terrace. That's when they finally noticed me. Nell looked startled and called my name. Blake jumped to his feet, his expression shifting to concern. He was a tall, lean man with a shaved head. He'd lost most of his red hair by the time he was 42. Years ago, a shattered knee had ended his soccer days. The scars on his leg were still visible. He'd moved into the neighborhood about a year earlier and had started teaching self-defense at the local Y. I'd watched his classes from time to time, but never felt the urge to join. I didn't care for his show-off attitude. Nell taught the women's classes he ran, and had once invited me to the co-ed one. I declined. It wasn't that I couldn't hold my own. I had years of hand-to-hand training and kept up my practice. But I knew if I joined, Blake would try to make a point, especially in front of others. And if things escalated, it wouldn't end well for either of us. As I moved farther into the yard, the tension was thick. I broke the silence casually. "Why don't you grab me a beer? I'll be right down." I leaned my bike against a tree and walked into the house, right past both of them. Upstairs, I went straight to my gun safe, retrieved my small Browning .25 caliber pistol, chambered a round, then changed into fresh shorts and a loose shirt. I tucked the gun into my pocket and headed back out. They were still there. Blake had moved slightly, but Nell was still on the swing. A third beer, unopened, now sat on the table. I stayed standing and said, "The office AC broke." That was it. I wasn't going to start the conversation. I've learned it's better to let people dig their own graves. I stared at both of them. No one said a word. They were caught. Either they could own up to what I'd walked in on, or pretend nothing happened. Eventually, Nell broke the silence, saying they'd just been talking about self-defense. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, because it looked like something more than that was about to happen. "What do you say, Blake?" Blake hesitated, then said, "I think I should go." I didn't back off. "Why were you even here, Blake?" He muttered, "I don't want to be part of this." Yeah, that pretty much says everything. He doesn't even want to talk about what I just walked in on. Nell whispered, "He's not my boyfriend, Bobby." "No," I said, "because it sure looked like you were about to kiss him." "Don't lie to me, I saw it." Blake snapped. "So what if we were?" She wanted it. I wanted it too. I looked straight at Nell. "Is that true?" She stammered. "I'm sorry. I don't know, he's just different in class, stronger." Blake cut her off. "Stronger than the guys she's used to. You can't compete with that." "Shut up, Blake," Nell said sharply. "It was a mistake. It won't happen again." "Why not?" he shot back. "Bobby doesn't do anything. None of the guys here do. They're all weak." I was done. "You need to leave. Now." Blake glanced at Nell. "You still want me here?" She didn't hesitate. "No. Leave." I pointed toward the gate. "Go. And don't come back." He stood about a dozen feet away from me, and had to pass close to get to the gate. I reached into my pocket, but didn't draw the gun. I stepped back slightly to give him room. He stopped, uncertain. I pulled my hand out, letting the pistol hang loosely at my side. His eyes locked on mine. "Coward," he hissed. "Pull the gun then." Nell screamed. "Don't. Just go, Blake. He'll shoot you." Blake scoffed. "He's not going to shoot anybody." But he turned and walked away, slowly, checking over his shoulder. I'd had enough. I removed the magazine from the pistol, ejected the chambered round, and tossed them both onto the ground behind me. Then I started toward Blake. Not rushing, just steady. He turned, smirking, and took a fighting stance. Nell was yelling again, but I didn't care. As soon as I was close enough, he swung a punch toward my head. Fast, but not fast enough. I ducked and countered with a sharp strike to the side of his neck, his carotid. He staggered. I followed up with a left to his ribs and a hard right to his kidney. He turned away, gasping, and fell to his knees. He tried to scramble off, but I kept after him. When he got to his feet, I kicked him hard in the rear. He fell again but scrambled up quickly and took off down the side of the house without looking back. I followed him just far enough to make sure he left, watched him reach the road and disappear toward his place. Then I turned and jogged back to the patio. Nell stood frozen, hand clutched at her throat, like she was holding something in. I didn't speak to her. I just walked past, picked up the gun, reloaded it, and retrieved the ejected round. Then I grabbed my beer and went inside to take a shower. If she still needed Blake that badly, she could follow him. When I got out, she was sitting on our bed. I was about to tell her to move when I heard footsteps on the stairs. Instinct took over. I grabbed my .32 caliber from the nightstand. Blake appeared in the doorway, holding a black pistol, sideways like a gangster from a movie. I fired first. One clean shot to the head. He fired too, but his shot went low and buried into the wall near the floor. Blake collapsed instantly. Just a small hole in his forehead, but it was over. Nell screamed. I didn't say anything. I picked up the landline and dialed 911.